Mark Stefan, Grand Valley Campground, Joe Walter, O'Neill Creek Campground in Chippewa Falls. What city are you in, Mark?
Dalton, Kingston.
Not by Montello, because nobody knows where that is.
So today's, we started talking about what today was going to, presentation was going to be about, and it's more or less just a conversation among us. If anybody's got any questions or anything. We talked about it being more of a maintenance type of discussion, so we threw together a little bit about our shops or sheds. This is my new one. If you came to Waco last year, or fall meetings last year, you'd seen it. And I just put down some info here. It's 40 by 60, 10-foot sidewalls. We got a lean-to on the back side of it that we keep our tractors and lawnmowers, UTVs. So we got two overhead doors, of course, on the front. On the end here, on the gable end, we got a higher one to get taller stuff in. I've got about 50 grand into this one. We did all the excavating on it, so that included everything. I didn't put electric or plumbing into it until after the inspection was done, of course.
Why is that show?
So this is the big door on the gable end, and then you can kind of see the lean-to off the back. That's a 12-foot lean-to that runs the whole length of the building. Put in a support wall in the middle. So like I say, that's where we keep our tractors there with the honey wagon back in. This is Mark's, if you want to talk about that, Mark, at all.
Yep, the tall one, the barn style one, we use that one down below for maintenance. The front part of it is more or less a garage to store vehicles. The back side is the man cave part of it. On top, we use the top, there's a picture later, we use for storage of like lawn chairs, stuff like that, all the outside beach stuff. The other one is just all the skid steers and that stuff. And the tall one is cars and everything. We try to keep that one the cleanest. That would be the upstairs of the barn style one.
You fill up the upstairs pretty good, huh?
Oh yeah. The one side is all their craft stuff. The right picture would be all their craft stuff. The decorations for each weekend, things like that. And then the left side towards the door, that's on the top, is that. That's just the inside of the man cave, the one we heat. That whole building we heat in the wintertime. It's nothing worse than pulling out your tools in the summer and having them rusty. It's just really kind of hard work for stuff like that.
So this is all heated?
Yes, that whole building is heated, minus the upstairs.
And you use that big wood?
We use a wood boiler to heat, not that building. That building, that one we run off LP, we use a wood boiler to heat, we'll get into that later, to heat the main facility, the pool, things like that. Joe is much better at organizing than I am. He's like good at it. My stuff is like all over. What I use is I use an app on my phone. If I see something that we need in the campground, I'll put it in campground shopping, click it in. The kids will get it. Ben's in Fond du Lac all the time. He looks at the list when he comes home. He brings it. If he needs to go to Menard or something, he gets it. If there's a list that needs to be done for something outside, we put it on there. If somebody's got some spare time, go look at it, click it. If they've got time to do it, they'll pick that up, do it, check it off the list, and it disappears. So that works good for me.
What's the name of that app?
Ben?
It's called Wunderlist.
Wunderlist?
Yeah, but you can pretty much do this if you look up like to-do apps, so as a checklist, anything that you can share a list out, it works pretty well. So it's nice that we're all able to contribute to it, and
Yeah.
when I drive around, and I don't necessarily have time to fix stuff because I don't work at the campground full time, but I can put it on the list for them to do, which is nice.
It's like having another kind of hovering person around you.
Yeah, so then basically one person sets up the list and you share it with the others. So you can share it with anybody you want to, and I think you can remove anybody you
So you can share like helper.
I think so, I'd have to look for sure, but I believe so, yeah. And this is just one app that can do it, I know there's a lot, and for our sake, there's really only 3 of us that do the outside maintenance, so we don't need anything too fancy, but if you need something more fancy where you start assigning tasks to people and stuff, I know there's other tasks we can talk to, and I think as actually one of the technology cracker barrel, we're going to talk about some of that stuff as well. So
There's also Trello.
yep, and that's something we'll talk about in there as well. So I don't know, you can share if you use that. I don't personally use that.
Yeah, we did, I can just get into it with the owner.
Yep.
What's it called? What's it
Trello?
called? Trello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Does anybody use that? I know there's a couple campgrounds that do, but we don't personally. It's also another free app or there is a paid version as well, but you can use that to manage tasks and to-do lists and all that kind of stuff, projects.
This is my app. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna look into that. I got a couple of guys that don't have smartphones, so I don't think it would work for us. to be
Yeah,
honest with
that
you.
would make it tough. I mean, you'd have to write out tasks for them or something.
It does work nice, but like you said, how many times have anybody drove around a campground like, oh, I see that, I need to fix that. You get called 6 different directions and all of a sudden you lose track of it. This way you can put it in there and it always brings it back into your head.
That doesn't happen, does it?
No, never.
So yeah, this is the clipboard wall right outside the office door that we put in the shop there.
What do you have on those?
Yeah, just these are a couple of things. These are daily things for the guys, and then Friday task, getting ready for the weekend. And you notice this bottom one here is ask at store for any special requests for the weekend, especially Jerry. Jerry's my wife, and I get an earful if shit's not done by the maintenance crew that she asked to do. So.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
So that's a reminder to the guys every Friday to make sure to go talk to her. This one here is a work order. The seasonals will come into the office and tell Karen what they need done. She'll put it on a list. Kyle is our maintenance foreman or maintenance manager, whatever you want to call him. And if it's something specific, he'll fill out a work order for the guys. The one interesting thing on here is, you probably can't see it, but we use a coding system with a difficulty factor. So the kids that we have, he labels this red, yellow, and green, what type of work it is. So, the kids can do, if anything's marked green, kids know they can grab it and go do it on their own. You get the idea. So if it's yellow or if it's red. If it's red, there's just a couple of us that would be working on it. When we've got a crew of 8 maintenance guys, I think. So it's made it, the procedure has been much better since everybody knows what they can grab and do on their own. I don't know why. That's they say no. Parts organization, these codes on the shelves have worked great for us. This, we stole some of that racking from the store that they're hanging the toys on and stuff, and used it for small parts. That's worked all wonderful. All the stuff that's hanging in the hardware stores, we just hang it up here, much easier to see. All the shelving racks are labeled plumbing, electric.
He said Joe is much better at maintenance. You wouldn't want to see the inside of mine.
This here I bought a couple of years ago, this red barn, it's one of them pre-made and then they come and deliver it. What did I put on here, 12 by 40. So then we're able to keep this stuff out of our way, like the big spools of wire, the pads, the toilets, the hoses, all the big stuff that doesn't need to be in the shop. But that barn has worked really nice for that. For $7,000, it was a great lot. This one here I just put on there for the electric links there. Does anybody do that? That's hang it up so you can just hook up your tractor or whatever and lift it right out. That I put on here for the chainsaw sharpener. You do your own, you sharpen your own. It gets expensive when you're doing.
Another thing I found out, use a Dremel tool, you can get a bit, and
That's
you
what we
can
use.
do it in seconds.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I haven't tried that yet.
It's probably not as accurate as the other things, but it works.
It works, I mean, if you're in the field, all you need is 1/10, plug it in, go.
If anybody's got any questions or they want to sidetrack off anything along the way, feel free to jump in, because it's all about, sharing information amongst us, because each one of us knows something and it's going to help somebody else out.
I was just a curiosity, how many trees do you guys usually go through with one chainsaw before?
Depending on the tree.
Yeah. Like, I got a lot of oaks, and I seem to be tearing through.
You'll go through them. And also you can look at the aggressive tooth pattern on your chains or whatever too. You can buy different types of chains, I believe. I got a steel saw and I get much more aggressive chains, I was told. They just said be careful with
It
it.
seems like the square, the upper edge on
Yeah.
it more.
Yeah. And I mean, we got some black locust out by us and you'll go through a chain in one tree.
Depends how you're handling the trees too, you're dragging them in the dirt, but it doesn't
Yeah.
take long.
Well,
Especially oaks.
Right.
Yeah, also.
This is a sidetrack. I had one of our campers turn around and said, can't figure out why my saw's not working. Well, he's using it as a trencher.
This is a lift, motorcycle, ATV, golf cart lift. It's pneumatic. The guys that came through last fall really liked this. As you can see, it turned into about a $1,500 table. So we haven't used it much, to be honest with you. When we're working on golf carts and stuff, it seems more of a pain in the ass to clear off the table to put it on.
Nice $1,500 table.
Yeah. Whenever we're putting together a new toolbox, I put together a list of electricians and plumbers' toolbox, so when you're going out, and make sure you got everything you need. Does anybody loan their tools out?
Exactly. Try not to.
Only out of one box, not out of the special.
Only with a fee behind them, there's that old saying, if you're gonna loan the tool, then, there's a rental charge.
This is what we came up with for a form. Checking them out, checking them back in. We do not loan ladders or chainsaws. And I put a reminder on here, if you make the decision to loan out these tools, consider yourself unemployed. And I needed to get that across because people were saying, well, he's a friend of yours. I don't care, he's not to use it, If there's always going to be times when seasonals need something, and if they need a ladder or something, I tell them where it is. I don't want nothing to do with it, is how I handle it, I guess. But that comes from the insurance guy, not to loan out those two things. That you can't see. Have you seen that one? There's a pogo stick on a plunger there. One thing, Randy Isaacson was in before he had to leave, but he was asking about it. Oh, you are here.
I came back, I looked at this sheet, I thought, I got in your price a little bit.
So Randy had a question if anybody's got any trash compactors or any experience with them. Is anybody in here?
I have a compact, it's not mine, I have a compactor, you know, from the disposal company. What our question was is, we're gonna put one in, and basically the question is whether or not in a campground, you end up with a lot of liquid. I talked to somebody else in Michigan, and they ran into a lot of liquid, and they said it's pretty nasty, and so you can have a self-contained compactor, you know, you bring the whole thing in, so you don't have any of that. I was just trying to figure out if that's an issue. I don't, mine's on the Spence Lab, I don't have a lot of liquid. If you're separating, you know, your recycle, that makes a big difference, obviously. Usually that's where your liquid's gonna come from. So I think that's probably why you don't have a lot of liquid. Mine's a 6-yard, where they come, it actually opens up just like a regular 6-yard dumpster, and they dump it with a truck, and it all stays right there. It's not, you know, they make the bigger ones where they have a big 12-yard, and they haul the actual bin away with the compact freezer. And it seems to work really good, really well, and it probably holds, if you have 8-yard dumpsters, it'll hold 2 of those for sure by compacting it into a 6-yard compactor one. The same amount.
Are you leasing that then?
Yeah, it's all just through the company. So that's, you know, they take care of everything, advanced disposal. And, of course, they take care of all the maintenance, take care of everything. So it has worked really well, keeps everything really clean. You don't have an overflow or anything. And made a huge difference.
I have a John Deere compactor.
Yeah, I used to use that on my,
What I have is I built myself a pallet that's probably 5 by 5 and 8 inches thick, 2 slots for the forks. And it's got a big strap on it. And I can just go up to the dumpster and I just,
it's right
I
here.
got a lot of PSI and I just compact it. And I can double the volume.
Yeah, easy.
Recyclables don't compact as well, but the trash, we have 3 dumpsters, and I would need 6 every week if I did do this. Works good.
We got an excavator, and every Sunday we used to be over there, do a little padding inside of there with that, just shove it down a little bit, make some more room. Because that is, it's better than going up there and jumping on it, because you jumping on it, you don't know what you're stepping on.
That's why I like this compactor up front, where I got dumpsters spread out the front, the same thing, I had 2 of them there, and this one handles the same as 2, and there's nothing ever falling out, or you don't have to go up there and do that, you still do it with the back ones. Just seem to be a lot nicer looking area and everything all the time.
How's the cost differential versus having dumpsters there?
I want to say that compactor is fairly cheap, like maybe $125 a month or something like that. For the lease on it. But you also are not dumping, you know, if you ever have to call for special dumps or anything, you never, or stuff's overflowing, or you do need extra dump. It really, like I said, it took the place of 2 8-yard dumpsters, so you figure that in, the cost is even less, you know, for that. And you don't have your time, you know, invested to pack it if you have to on certain ends or whatever.
Where'd you get that, Scott?
Sewer Advanced Disposal.
Really?
I'm assuming every disposal company probably has access to it.
Interesting.
Because they don't actually own it either, it's through, they have a company that they get them through. Very clean, and like I said, doesn't take up any more space than a
So
regular
you,
8-yard
the people
dumpster.
throw it in there and then they push the button?
Yeah, I just have a sign up there, just throw yourself in this end, you know, there's a pretty big hopper there, and then we just check it every once in a while. Normally, you won't have any, a lot floating.
Are they able to push the button?
I don't need the key in there.
Okay, I was gonna say,
You could.
it could be
But
an issue.
it just makes it that much easier for them to throw whatever they want in there, you know. It's just 220 only.
Yeah, I could see some kids doing some dumb things with that.
Maybe there's like,
I like that would happen.
have problems with it, like if people throw in lawn chairs or canopies or that kind of stuff, if you ever had
Yeah, I do that all the time, sure.
not
Bicycles.
Well, I don't, here's that, you pull it out.
pull it out.
Yeah.
I was curious how that works.
I need a separate metal pile of that and whatever. Yeah, everything, sure, everybody has that. You can bring stuff from home, you can bring it.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
And, basically it goes in the dumpster and they never say anything about it. They take it usually. Yeah, they throw stuff in there all the time, that's why it's kind of nice to not leave the key there for them to sort of really want it. It'll crush it.
You good, Randy?
Yep.
Makes sense. I don't know, what else you want to talk about?
Like with this stuff here, I don't know how much you guys do your own, but I mean, we do most of our stuff. I mean, the only thing we won't do is we won't hook up the mains and stuff for electrical. We do our own trenching, we do our own stuff. We go as far as we can go legally. And then, so to us, you know, zero turns, we bought zero turns, about 5-6 years ago. We've knocked 4 hours off mowing easily, just from the zero turns. Skid steer, I think that thing's my best friend. The aerial lift, it's a 60-foot aerial lift. Trimming trees is expensive. I hate height, but I also hate paying the guy to do it and dropping stuff on campers. Somebody's gonna drop it, let me drop it because I think I'm more responsible. Trenching, like I said, we have a trencher. We trench all our own sewer lines. We have probably 1.5 miles of drain tile throughout the campground. We're a pancake. We're just a pancake. Water doesn't like to run. So we do our own drain tile work. Excavator, that works great with compactor and garbage cans. Dump truck, you gotta have that. Golf cart, skaters, just to get around.
If you got, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you know, if you've got a friend or something that you can work something out with, as far as having everything, it sure works nice. I've got a buddy's in construction, so we don't each have everything. We buy together or whatever. I've got a 60-foot aerial lift. I've got everything, backhoe, whatever we want. It's nice. Then you can buy a trailer, or I can buy a trailer, or whatever. But you gotta have somebody you can trust, obviously. But there's no sense having a lot of stuff that's just gonna sit around for 360 days out of the year.
None of my stuff is by far new,
Yeah.
Like I said, my skid steer is an 04. The aerial lift is an 04. I mean, I don't buy new stuff. It just, if I need it, it's there. Up by the pool, you got your mercury vapor light up by the pool, the bulb goes up. Mine has a super long arm on it. There's no way I can get to it from a ladder. It works nice to go up there, or all of a sudden, it's Friday, there's a widowmaker hanging up in a tree. Hey, great, I can go up there and I can pluck it out. We used to take a fish pole with a rope on it, or a sinker on it, throw it over a branch, pull it down, tie a rope on it, pull it back across. It's just like, so easy, go up and grab it, you're done. That is something I had made by the Amish, because we're an Amish community. I gave them a couple things, told them what I wanted. It works great. We put it on the back of our tractor. We can pick up trailers, we can pick up fifth wheels, push them around. It works great.
I think you found that at a camping show, didn't you?
It was actually at the Madison Camping Show. I seen it, took pictures of it. And I was gonna make it. I think Randy Sandali had one made. I did one made for him. And I think I've got like $200 in the thing. It's ridiculously cheap. The fifth wheel pin, that came off of a rummage sale, and all I bought was the drop on the bottom. And I gave the guy what it looks like, and he just welded it together for less than $100. I'm like, it's a no-brainer.
I've got one just similar to that, except I run the fifth wheel hitch on it. I just welded on a 6-inch round steel pipe on the top. You can pick the gooseneck or anything up with it, or fifth wheels. You don't need the actual plate, but yeah, it works really.
Do you get a lot of sway in yours, or you like when you're backing up on your 3-point hitch?
I don't, while mine are on boards, they're all pinned, you can adjust them, so you can take all of them.
Said my equipment's not new. I get the sway and end up putting a come along on it when I'm backing in next to the deck because I can't afford it for the sway.
Sure.
What size tractor do you have?
Does the rocks get away when you start turning short?
You don't have, we have an older farm tractor that doesn't have the ROPS. But I don't think it would though, because it doesn't come over you at all though.
No.
It sticks out the back far enough, I think. Because usually the pins on the fifth wheel sit pretty flush with the front for the most part, at least.
My fenders and everything, I clear out.
Some of them that are without, like, being angled.
When I had this made, I was looking at that as far as the height went, because I wanted to make sure, once the 3-point hit sat all the way down, say I shut the tractor up and the system bled out and it dropped down, it wasn't gonna be landing the fifth wheel on top of my fenders, or me, or anything else, you know. So I wanted to make sure there was room, so I made sure, I think mine's like 40 inches high across from the,
Are you guys moving a lot of campers for people?
I move all the campers. When dealerships come, I'm sorry, 99% of them in my world, they don't care. They want to throw it in there and get out of their way, they don't care. If I have a new season, well, I put them in for free. If someone wants to move from one side to the other, 99% of them I put in, I charge them an hourly rate for it. If they move it themselves before they unhook, I need to look at it, because I want it straight. I want where it's supposed to be, not where they think it should be.
What do you do as far as insurance moving on these campers?
It's covered under my insurance.
Do you use that extra add-on to the policy, or just covering business
Yes,
insurance?
yes.
It's not
For camper moving. No, I think it's right in there.
Oh, it is?
As far as I know.
It is.
Yeah,
That's trying to avoid it.
yeah. Because we'll back them in right next to decks, and knock on wood, I dropped one with that. We were having a hard time getting it in. We decided we were gonna unhook. We set it down, we pulled the pin to release it, and we changed our mind and started pulling away, and I wasn't all the way down, and then she slid off and went down, and the guy was standing right there. But he's still camping with us, so it's all right.
Yeah, back to the ROPS thing, that will hit a lot of times on a lot of tractors. I think my ROPS are taken off my tractors, probably don't let people want to hear that, but that's, the safety switches are off the seats and the ROPS are off specifically for that, for moving trailers and stuff. You swing them over the fenders or whatever, and it will hit the ROPS if you're not. It just limits your turning ability if you have it on there, so I like to cut them. I do it in and out all the time, so.
You get them where you want them.
Right.
I had one guy when we first came to the campground, and it was a dealership, I won't even say who, but he says, is it okay to come? I said, sure. By the time he got there, we had like an inch of rain. It was just miserable. And he tried putting it in. He was pulling around in the thing so hard, the tandems were not even rolling, were sliding in the mud. It was ridiculous. He didn't want to quit. Guess what? His dealership got a call the next day, and he ain't coming back. Because he just, he didn't have no respect for the site. The guy's line, he just wanted to get it in, he didn't care how.
I have a question. You don't have to answer, but as far as hourly rate charge, like,
We charge $45 an hour. It's cheap, but in return to that, I get what I want. I could charge, 60 easily, because if I'm using my tractor or skid steer or whatever, piece of equipment, I could charge more. I just do it that way because I get what I want. And otherwise, I think as our seasonal stuff goes, unless I would say, you can't move it and I have to move it, they would try to move a lot of their own stuff, and that's just scary.
I don't charge it.
You ever try backing up with your wife? Try backing something up with your wife. No. We speak different languages.
No, to be honest with you. Yeah, we came out of camping, we had a fifth wheel, we had trailers and stuff, and I understand what she's gonna say before she says it, and vice versa. And she knows what the capacity of, turning radius and everything is, which, as to be honest with you, if you have 3 or 4 people talking at the same time, I'll just turn around and say, shut up, you talk.
You're used to it, yeah.
Yeah.
She'll tell me which way, my wife would try to tell me which way to turn the wheel. I'm like, just tell me where you want the back of the trailer to go. I don't want you to tell me no more than that.
Yeah.
If you can work, that's good.
Yeah,
I can back up with either one of my kids. No, we don't back up together.
Ever since he dropped a tree on the truck she was driving though.
She just had to
it was
worry about it.
it wasn't a problem anymore.
I got the truck. She won't cut trees with me no more neither. She said that I didn't have enough rope. I'm like, the truck wasn't spinning, it was a pine tree. You needed to pull it.
One more thing I'll say, if anybody is moving trailers a lot, if you've ever seen, they're called Arturo mats. They're like a the brand name on mine is called Artura, but there's a lot of different ones out there. If you look for landscaper mats or whatever, they do different sizes. But they're nice to have around.
So how well would they work if you like put one on in a rainy season or whatever?
Right, they'll slide. Yeah, that's the idea. That's what they're designed for, as far like landscapers run their mini excavators.
So they'll-
So you don't sink in.
Yeah.
It just spreads it out.
How heavy are they?
They're probably weigh maybe 50 pounds a piece or something like that. They're just plastic.
Well, we use sheets, that's what I'm asking, we use sheets of plywood, I got something that's off.
Yeah, they're lighter than that.
So sheets of plywood.
They're lighter than plywood and stronger, you know.
Yeah, no, the plywood does bowl, but it takes a lot of the stress out.
Yeah, but they will slide. They will actually let a part on slide on, so it works good for that.
Does anybody use a skid steer for moving trailers, putting them in? Because I see they make skid steer plates, how does that work? I mean, because to me, it's, you can turn the front end really quick, which is nice.
Yeah, I guess I've never done it any other way, so. I don't, my tractor's not big enough, you know, I got another tractor, so it's always my skid steers. So, yeah, I've never done it.
Because I was gonna get one.
I'm probably tearing up more.
Yeah, well, that.
Compared to what you're doing, so.
Maybe your skid steer's more compact, you can turn on a dime versus a tractor.
You got more command on the trailer, yeah.
But, I was just gonna say the tractors, you know, they cut sharp too, I mean, but we don't move a lot, to be honest with you. Our dealerships,
We probably move 15 cans.
our dealerships are fantastic. I mean, you know, there was one that I had to have a talk with and have him come back. And the one time that I had him come back, it's never happened again, you know, he doesn't want to come back, so. You know, with just explaining how you want your cinder block square, you know, everything in your level off with, you know, everything's been great for that, so. We don't move a lot, so. Any other comments about moving trailers? I see on your attachments here, Mark, you don't have a grapple. Does everybody have a grapple?
No, I wish I did.
Yeah, we all do.
I want one.
I couldn't imagine not having
Yeah,
one.
I want one. It's on my wish list, it's like really high up.
Tomorrow, what becomes?
Well, and then I've got a log splitter attachment too, for big ones, you know, and that's really nice when they have big stumps over there on that split down, so. Not used very often, but, and then I have a little digger too attachment, because I don't have a backhoe or an excavator.
So what do you have that on?
The skid steer.
On the skid steer?
But it's just it's not a backhoe attachment, it's just a bucket, a digger. So I can turn the whole machine to dump, you know, so. It's good for little things, but.
I seen a guy take a trench, go around the stump, and then go up the stretch.
Yeah.
I think worked pretty good.
You want to say anything about this stuff?
Sure, everybody's got it. Anything, anybody love that they can't, do without. I'm sure, like I said, in general, everybody's got that stuff. I don't have a backpack floor. I would love to have one, but I can see myself not putting it on because it's time consuming for me to put it on and take it off,
You never touch a rig again?
Well, we have the Wonder blowers with the 3 wheels, and them work great. I mean, you can move a stick a long way with them, and that's literally how we clean leaves.
We have blowers, backpack blowers, and we have a little Wonder, which I thought was great. We put about a Buffalo turbine blower for the golf course, and I can blow leaves 100 yards, almost doesn't matter how thick. I can blow them so far into the woods, it's cut our time in half.
And it's on remote, so you never get off the golf cart. Just takes the blower, keeps moving it. They're phenomenal.
Buffalo?
Buffalo turbine is what I was doing, but they make a couple different kinds. You can see them on golf courses.
Do you have any problems if you have like a lot of loose dirt or gravel? Do you have problems with
You
that?
gotta watch
Yeah,
it.
you gotta watch where you drive alongside
Take
there.
the gravel off there.
And so you put the Wonder and blow off the road, and then drive along the side of the road.
Or if you ever literally I can do the whole campground by myself. Cleans out the fire pits really
So
well.
what does that hook up on?
I put it on a golf cart,
Really?
because it's really super easy, and then you can get in
So it's like, so you're just literally pushing it.
Yeah, it's on 2 wheels, no, it's you're
Oh,
towing it.
okay, you're towing it.
You're towing it, but that's why you want to get the remote, so you're not having to like look back all the time, because it's got a setting that once you set where you want it, like at a 45-degree angle, it'll just go back and forth on its own. So once you hit the button, it goes right into that setting.
New Express 7 really.
We have a little Wonder and backpack blowers, but that Wonder will wear your ass out. So I have platform welded up that attaches to the front of my zero-turn lawnmower, and you just set the baby on there and you just drive it around all morning. And you can blow 80% of it off of Little Wonder, and then we come back behind that with the lawnmower with backpack, lawnmower with a bagger on it. It's a big lawnmower. I mean, you can suck up a twig with the lawnmower when you're done. So, but getting 90%, when the fall leaves come down, if you're heavy, backpack blower, you only can move them 10, 15 feet. With that Little Wonder, you can move them 30 to 40 feet and get them out of the way. We also found that if you blow this stuff in the road, for us, I know people have gone out and bought the leaf vacuums, the big suckers. They don't work.
No, I have one of them.
I can move leaves faster with a grapple and the tractor and the dump truck. Pushing them in a pile and loading, 6, 7 yards at a time. But yeah, I don't like pushing that damn thing, so.
We have a Hurricane X3. It's a ride-on blower that has 3 switches. The remote switches right up by the handles. It's a real neat looking little machine. It's got front wheel drive. It's like the ride-on lawn spreaders or spreaders. And it has directional flaps. It has a front flap and 2 side flaps. And it's an expensive machine, of course. It's about 13 grand, but it was, but you can drive down the road, and if you've got to switch sides, you just hit a switch and it flips the flap. You can go over to whichever side, or you can blow it for Bullhead's parking lot. We can clean that parking lot off really fast, but it's really nice. The only problems we've had with it was they had the impeller on it. They had a little design flaw in that, and blew up one of them, and it stopped the machine like dying right now, instant. But they improved that over time, And yeah, that's really valuable in a car. I mean, the directional flaps on the sides, and it keeps the shot low enough where it's just blowing across the surface. The only thing I've ever had problems with is we'll have seasonals that have washed their trucks, and I've had one of my guys went out and decided to blow the roads off right onto his truck that was nice and clean, so I ended up giving them a gift certificate to the bar for, sorry about your truck, but no, they really do, they work nice, especially on paved roads and stuff.
Unfortunately, all my roads are dirt and sand. And you pick more like that.
Only on paved roads it's good.
Got the backpack blowers for us. I mean, like you said, you can't push it far, but Steel just came out with an 800, which is quite nice. And it automatically starts on the button on the switch too. You don't have to take it off and shut it off either. Once it's warm.
How do any of those blowers work on pine needles?
Really good.
Good.
Yeah. Backpack blowers.
Like the Wonder blowers, I know them, and the first time the pine needles come down, like right around the Halloween thing, they get a little sticky, so it's a little harder to blow them on the grass. They blow a little harder than, obviously than leaves. So you got to work at it a little more. But like I said, like Bud says, you'll blow them 30 feet. They didn't move. Actually, when I get too big a pile, I'll take the skid steer and I'll shove it to the road. And just push the pile at least, because after it gets this deep, the blower doesn't want to do anymore. One thing I was going to ask everybody, postal diggers. We used to have one for the back of our tractor. It was time-consuming to put on, time-consuming to take off. When you want to drill a hole and you wanted it right here, when you put it on a 3-point hitch, everything's wobbling. You can't really get the hole where you want it. I went out and I bought myself just one of these little handhelds. Best thing in the world. I sold my 3-point hitch postal digger because this little hand, you should go grab it off the shelf. You go, zip, you got yourself a hole. I mean, they're great. I was really impressed. It was just a cheap thing in Menard, just thought, well, I'm gonna try it and see what happens. We just told, matter of fact, we just told our postal digger this year because of that. I mean, it's so handy, there's no time to put it on, take it off. You know, or if you use your tractor for hay wagon rides or something else also, and now you get the postal digger on, you gotta make sure you got it off by the weekend because you're putting a fence on it. Just grab it off the shelf, take it out there, start it up and run. It works great. And you don't get the wobble, you can go straight down. It's got 8-inch holes, you can stick cedar fence posts in, whatever you want. It works well.
How about skid loader? Postal diggers,
This
we
was
got
cheaper.
one of them. Yeah, we got both, but you know, skid loader, it doesn't wobble or anything, you know.
Yeah, that's our solid.
I think it depends on how big a hole you need to go.
Yeah.
What you drill
The
in.
2-foot
In my
post hole
world,
digger.
you're cheating, it's too easy.
That 2-foot post hole digger, we've got a 2-footer, and for putting down rims for your fire pits, it's really nice. We just set it, put it down maybe 1.5 feet, drop your rim right in there, and kick the dirt back in around the sides.
You use semi-tire rims?
Yeah, yeah.
Generators.
Anybody use backup generators for campground?
Portable.
Okay. We had actually put one in, hooked the main building up to it, because of all the ice cream machines and things like that. And 2 years ago, I think so.
Yeah.
And I said, I believe it cost us like $7,000. Best thing in the world. I mean, when the power goes out in the winter, because we have the boiler system too, this thing covers it. We go away today. I don't have to worry about the building freezing up if we lose power. Power goes out, the bathrooms and everything will be lit up. I won't be able to cook food, but everything else I can do. The air conditioning's can run. The coolers are all running. You don't have to worry about your ice cream melting. And for me, yeah, you can, get insurance on the seven, for your ice cream melting and stuff. But what's the inconvenience for it? It was really nice. It automatically switches over. It starts up once a week, runs for 20 minutes, warms itself up, charges its battery, puts a load on itself, shuts itself down. Do it every Sunday night, it runs itself.
Another aspect of it too, we've had last summer we had a really bad storm, but we've had several storms now where, people come up to the main building for shelter or whatever, and when that power goes out and then the generator comes on, it just makes the customers feel so much more safe, and just having the lights on and stuff. And so I think that's a benefit of it too that we didn't expect necessarily. So we had one night where I was out of town, but you guys spent several hours in the evening in the store with customers because there was no power throughout the rest of the park. Guests couldn't get home because roads were blocked, and it just made it a lot more comfortable for the guests. And we didn't have to worry about, we could focus on them instead of having, the portable generator and set it all up and try to get stuff plugged in with wall extension cords and all that kind of stuff. So.
Tree trimming, everybody do their own, they hire out. What did you guys do? I mean, like I said, I do it myself. I hate heights. When I get up 50 feet or above, I start talking to myself a lot. I think people think I'm nuts up there. Because I'm talking to myself, if they hear myself talk up there, they know I'm nuts, because I don't like it up there.
I got a gentleman, Amish, on Cloma. He comes out very reasonable,
Does he climb trees or does he lift?
climbs.
He climbs?
If we have a lift, he'll use it,
Okay,
but he will climb, and he's very, very good.
really. We used to have a guy that did mine, and he would work $200 for a whole day. I mean, he was great. But he got old like the rest of us, and he retired, and his body was getting wore out. And now the new guy I had figured out, the only price he knew was $500, and that was just for saying, hi, how are you? So it's to me, I was like, I hate to do this, and I don't like heights at all. God made me this high for a reason, because I don't like to be above it. But
A lot of tree trimming, has to deal with what kind of tree you have. We got oak wilt, we have to whack out 25 to 30 oak trees per year, so that's gotta be cut in the winter time. They're big trees, and, we just don't mess with them. Nowadays, 1099, certificate of insurance, what we do is, you get them on the ground, cut them up in manageable pieces, and we clean it up. I'm not paying a guy to clean it up, but disappear on you. And so that's helpful too, but yeah, I mean, you can't cut oak trees in the summertime. And
October to April, I believe, is when you want you to cut.
sap has to be in the roots, I guess, from what I'm told, so we only cut in the winter. But that insurance thing, I mean, we've had a couple sticks go through people's travel trailers, and it's not my problem.
Yeah, somebody else is doing it.
If somebody else is doing it, and I have that certificate, it's a big deal. And workman's comp, you know, if you ever get an audit or something, they're gonna want to look at that stuff.
So the only lift I have is I bought a man basket for an attachment for the skid steer, so that's what we use. So it gets you the height of the skid steer, and then there's a 12-foot pole saw. So that gets us anything higher than that.
They figure it out.
Unlike you, I don't care for the height.
No, not at all.
I've rented the lifts and.
My other son wants to go up there, but I don't feel he has enough experience to be up there. It's the only one. You know, if he's out in the open and there's nothing around, it's a good experience for him. Because the rule of camp, you don't go in, you don't start it up unless you're harnessed up, period. It doesn't, I don't care if you're just driving it, you don't. It doesn't move unless you're harnessed up. Because it's easy to say, oh, I'm just going up 10 feet. Well, you land around 10 feet, you can die. You know, so you don't, and the last thing you want to do is, you know, is get to that, and you'd rather pay the money than.
Do you have a bucket saw?
No, it's a driver. It's a JGL 60S or 600S.
Does anybody have a bucket saw?
So,
Bucket saw, yeah. With the handle on the top?
Yeah. Oh, bucket saw. Yeah, yes, I do. Yeah.
You do?
Yes, yep.
Is that pretty slick?
Yes. Oh, that thing cuts through a lot of wood quick. I mean, and it's really nice. It's a steel. What is that thing? I mean, it was like $600, but I mean, it's more expensive than a bake saw. It's huge.
yeah.
But I mean, the thing just really chews through the wood. It's real ergonomic on your hands. I mean, it just works well.
Could you explain the bucket saw?
This is a bucket saw.
Just got the handle on the top.
Yeah, in one hand, you trigger it, you hang on to it with one hand. You don't need to.
You're not
You
picking
hang on to
at
your
your
elbow.
elbow, it's right at your wrist, so it's really easy.
It's super powerful, it's really small.
Yep.
You use one hand with it.
Yeah, to keep the chain
You
nice
can't
and
shut all
sharp,
day
it
with
goes
it.
through like butter.
I don't know how you guys do the job. We have an 80-foot JLG. I don't know how you run a campground without it.
I know. After you have it, it's hard. Yeah.
We cut down 100 trees in 2016 and 100 in 2017. How do you do the job without it?
You find,
It costs
find
me, I mean, it costs me to pay someone to do that. It costs me to live.
Just gutters. If you got a 2-story building, clean the gutters. It works great.
Steel also makes a battery-powered chainsaw.
Yeah, anybody buy one of them yet?
Yes, I own it.
Does it work?
I use it.
I was worried that you might only get like 2 cuts.
No.
So it works well?
Works really
How
well.
big are bars on it? What time?
Little, I mean, I use it.
Yeah,
It's my
like
saw.
a
It's
10
my saw,
inch.
but it lives in his gator, but it's my saw. But I said, if you want me out there, maybe we can get something I can handle. And it's lightweight,
I don't know much about the steel ones, but the DeWalt, they make a 16-inch that's got a 60 volt battery pack. I just bought a little one, 12-inch one, so I can interchange with my 20-volt stuff. So, because I got a bunch of those batteries, 20 volts. So, but they're nice. They're really nice. Being able to just throw it in the golf cart and you gotta run and do something quick.
I don't have to worry about.
The torque is incredible.
So like my bucket saw, it doesn't do anything except go in the bucket, just because it's an expensive saw and it's very convenient. Like you said, that would be a good place for the electric one, because the bucket saw, if I see somebody using it besides in the bucket, I'll holler, because it's for the bucket. That way, when you go in the bucket, it's sharp, the bar isn't all messed up, it's ready to go. Where once you get on the ground, and once the tree hits the ground, you know, you start getting sand, no matter how hard you try, you're getting stuff in it, and it just dulls it all up.
Anybody got blacktop roads?
Best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
Did it increase your speed, Button Park?
Did it increase
The
what?
speed of your customers going around?
Oh, yeah, I drive 20 miles an hour.
All right, did it increase their speed in the park?
I've been in this business 40 years, and, you know, yeah, for 30 It was like, I couldn't afford it because I didn't want to commit borrowing the money to do it. But when you talk about, you know, your customer, your seasonals and that, you know what? You can throw another $200 a year minimum first day. You put blacktop down, they'll pay for it. So as long as you finance it for 15 or 20 years, you can afford it. But they'll pay it. The dust disappears, bike rentals, everything that you rent is better. Golf carts don't, you know, it's just a good thing. And then when you blow on leaves and that, it's so much easier to throw everything on the road, scrape it off, you know, etc. I mean, you can do so much with blacktop. But yeah, it's a scary number.
So is yours, is real blacktop or is it like the
3 inches. We've done a park and recycled, trying to save some money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good for a couple of years, and then once you get a pothole, you're done.
So it didn't hold
And
up?
so we ended up using it as a base and blacktop and over it. I mean, it makes a great base to recycle for a while, but, you know, it's just, at the end of the day, it all comes down to how do you pay for it. And if you try to pay for it, the bits and pieces, you know, out of cash flow, you know, I'll do a little bit every year. If you've got a good banking relationship, it's easier to go borrow $100,000, spread it out over 15 or 20 years, raise your rent $200, $300, $400. And, I mean, people will have no problem paying your rent because your competition doesn't have blacktop. The guy who has it, they understand the value.
So do you have like speed bumps every so often built into it, or how you,
Pardon me?
speed bumps in it?
I've done it. The problem with speed bumps is, you know, put them all the way across the road, the golf carts will drive around it. If you put it through half of it, they'll take half of them and then run through the crack. If you're plowing snow, that's a bitch.
Yes, it is.
Now, I've been in parks where they bought the portable ones, which I kind of like, but, you know, the best bumps I've seen are the ones that, the bumps are like 4 or 5 feet wide, so your whole, you know, instead of a bump, you know, you can get air, let's say, if you go over too fast, you know.
They do them in Florida, they speed humps in the roads, that's what they call them in Florida.
What we've done is, we're forgiving on our golf carts a little more because they don't get as fast as cars do, but we still want to control the car speeds. So what we did is we spread, of course we got blacktop, and we spread the speed bumps out so a golf cart will fit through it, because it'll kill your golf carts too if they can run them wide open. We do a lot, we rent all of our golf carts from gyms, and he tones them all down to 6 miles an hour. He's got them all set at 6 miles an hour. Ours, of course, will go faster, but so the cars going over them, they'll hit the speed bumps, but your golf carts and smaller stuff will go between them.
Bikes and stuff.
Yeah, and the bikes and everything, because I mean, I've had people complain, you know, they trip over speed bumps too, so, but that's what we've done with it, so.
That's what you got, right?
That's what we put in, yes. So I said, we heat the pool with it, we heat the main building, and we heat hot water with it. We go through probably 10 full quart a year, but I pay nothing. My pool is 86 degrees. It's an aquastat that controls it, so the pump just kicks on and off and it needs heat, and it runs in there. It works great. Downfall, you gotta fill the wood burner every year, and all that wood that Bud's giving away, I'm taking it up there because my seasons are trying for it. I'm slapping their finger and saying, "You want a cold pool? Take it." Then you're getting a cold pool because, said, literally, up to 2 years ago, we were getting enough wood off the campground that stuff needed to be cleaned up that I had bought no wood. Now I buy a load of logs every year, $1,000, $1,200, I'm done. Yeah, we got to do the maintenance, or you know, cutting it and throwing it in there, but ours is the central boiler. The door is big enough. The door's about that wide, like this. If you can lift it, it'll eat it. It doesn't care if it's green. It don't care. It'll just eat it. Once you get a bed of ash in there, it has no working parts to it except the damper. It's all self-vented, so if the damper opens up, draft comes through, it fans the flames, kicks it up, heats up. It gets up to 100, and it's programmable. I just dropped it down to 176 degrees. Damper shuts. It'll smolder the fire out. When it's 27 degrees or warmer, if I fill it full, I can get 2 days on it. I heat the whole building in the winter. Plus, the residents upstairs gets it too. Okay.
To go back to the gravel driveways, what do you guys, a lot of you guys use for leveling your gravel driveways out with?
Yeah, good question, good question.
I got one of those DR power graders that I pull behind my tractor or my gator. It works everything up nicely, and it also smooths everything out.
So it'll ruffle up the gravel that you have?
Yes.
How wide is
It's
it?
got little teeth. I think you can get anywhere from 48 to 60 inches.
Okay.
I think ours is 48.
I've got one of those too, it's 5 feet wide, and it's nice just to dress things up.
Yeah.
I have a box blade, you know, you gotta do a lot, but.
I have a hard time with box blade cutting into my gravel, so.
I wish they made a commercial version of the DR that was like 6, 7 feet wide that I could pull behind a big tractor.
Mhm.
I'd have to have one custom built, it's kind of a toy thing, but it works.
Does anybody have a land plane?
What is that?
It's kind of like a box scraper, but they're about like 6 feet long, 7 feet long, and instead of just the one box blade, it's got like 4 sets of angle iron where the gravel flows across. And the idea is with a box blade, you got a lot better chance of getting whooped to it, where this would flatten that.
Yeah, like a
kind of
groomer.
like a soda hammer, yeah.
Is that what you guys have then?
No, I was curious. I've been poking him to try one, so, but,
I don't see that
so I was curious if anybody else had anything like that. I think what you guys are talking about is sort of like that, where you get the length
is.
more so.
I looked at the land plane, I don't see how that really would work with my roads.
Yeah, I got a combination of gravel and sand, and basically I got a bunch of teeth in the front, chews it up, and then the back blade scrapes it, and it just rolls over the top and smooths everything out.
Do you have any?
Yeah, you got a chain behind that, a chain mat that,
So that's on your ZR?
DR, yes.
Did you have any hills or slopes? And you have to go back and pack it down before you get those 3 inches in an hour rains? That's
Well,
my problem, is
the-
once we smooth the road down,
The
it's like
secret
rain
to
washes.
the secret to gravel roads, and it took me 2 years to figure this out.
I stick the teeth in, I don't think it is.
The roads had to be crowned properly,
Grooves going down over this.
and then as soon as I got the roads crowned properly, I spend 3 days a year doing that rather than weekly. I brought in 105 truck quad axles of gravel one year, just redid the entire freaking hand crown, and had it done perfect, and I didn't have to grade for a couple of years. Really nice. You have to have the roads the right way, and then you won't have a problem. I mean, nothing washes out anymore.
You know, I know there's some attachments for the skid loaders too, with the grader blade where you got all that,
Right.
adjustments for all that, just.
Break backwards with your skid steer. Yeah, I do the skid steer. I have the DR grader. I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Well, I don't get it into the woods. If you do with the skid steer, you go backwards, back brake with your blade. I have construction, so I use the Bobcat every day, all the time. I can do circles around that DR grader. Push it into the woods.
No, if I have old washouts and stuff like that.
So that'll conclude today's activities.
Great. Don't forget to fill out your sheets and then I'll give you your.
Thanks, everybody, for coming.